Hello, it's me, Andy Peters. Welcome to the Broom Cupboard. I'm here to play some terrific bits from my favourite stories from the BBC's Young collection on this Radio Times Children's Classics tape. Now, Pingu, one of my absolute favourites. First he was on Children's BBC and he was great there. Then he made his own video and that was fab. And now you can hear him on cassette. Hello, Pingu. Pingu! Pingu! Come back! He's gone straight out of this door at the back of the broom cupboard. I'll have to go and find him. I always wondered where this door went, but this definitely isn't Pingu's Arctic. There's a farm over there and woods. And up there in the sky, it can't be. Can it? A duck in a straw hat. Now, I only know one duck who wears a straw hat. Jemima Puddleduck. Can you see her? Not quite. She's flapping her wings, flying off to find a safe place to lay her eggs. Shut your eyes and listen.
No doubt a little more speed is needed. Certain I hadn't quite forgotten how. She flew beautifully. She skimmed along over the treetops until she saw an open place in the middle of the wood where the trees and brushwood had been cleared. Now that could be the very spot. Time to go down, I think. Jemima alighted heavily. Oh dear. Well, now then, let's see. And began to waddle about in search of a convenient, dry nesting place. Oh, I rather fancy that tree stump there, in among the foxgloves. But, oh dear me, it appears to be occupied. Indeed. Seated upon the stump was an elegantly dressed gentleman reading a newspaper. He had black prick ears, sandy-coloured whiskers, and a long, bushy tail. The gentleman raised his eyes above his newspaper.
Madam, have you lost your way?
No. On the contrary. Well, quite the contrary. Though most civil of you to inquire. No, you see, I'm looking for a nesting place. A really convenient dry nesting place. So that I can sit on my eggs.
Your eggs? Ah, is that so indeed? And there are no dry and convenient places in the farmyard?
Oh, pray don't mention the farmyard. That infuriating hen hatching my eggs for me, if you can credit it.
Indeed, how interesting. Oh, I wish I could meet with that fowl. I would teach it to mind its own business. But as to a nest, there is no difficulty.
Oh?
I have a sack full of feathers in my woodshed.
Too kind. Oh, I couldn't put you to the trouble. The inconvenience.
No, my dear madam, you will be in nobody's way. You may sit there as long as you like.
Don't worry, everything's okay. Mr. Todd the Fox doesn't get his filthy paws on Jemima Puddleduck or her eggs. And it all ends happily. Right, got to be moving on. I wonder what's around this bend. Come on. I know this place. It's Toyland. A very old friend of mine lives here, Noddy. Let's go and join him and Bert's monkey for breakfast.
Noddy, the little man with the red and yellow car. Noddy, his twinkling bell means he's the happiest little fellow in all Toyland. There's babies and
It was going to be another busy day in Toyland. Noddy was having breakfast, when someone whistled outside his door. "Come in," Noddy called, and in came Bert Monkey. His long tail swished about in front of him and waved at Noddy. "Good morning, Noddy," said Bert. "I need your help." "Well, you can help me by looking after your tail," said Noddy. Bert's tail had crept onto the table and taken the lid from the teapot. Bert tugged his tail away and stuffed it into his pocket. Then he told Noddy, "I went to see my grandma and she gave me a pencil box, but it hadn't got a rubber in it and I really wanted one." "Bert," cried Noddy, "it's your tail again." The naughty tail had sneaked out of Bert's pocket and was trying to grab Noddy's toast. "Tail," said Bert, "give Noddy back his breakfast." His tail dropped the toast and slithered away.
Noddy.
Well, that was a funny sort of tail. Get it? A funny sort of tail? All right, then forget it. Noddy had toast for his breakfast, but another favourite character of mine always has honey for his. Yes, that's right, Winnie the Pooh. In one story, Pooh and Piglet set a honey trap for a heffalump, but Pooh, being Pooh, put his head in the honey jar and it got stuck. Piglet thinks that Pooh is a heffalump, and of course, what happened next was, well, look, I'll tell you what. Let's go over to the forest and find out.
"Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear," said Piglet to himself, and he wanted to run away. But somehow, having got so near, he felt that he must just see what a heffalump was like, so he crept to the side of the trap and looked in. And all the time, Winnie the Pooh had been trying to get the honey jar off his head. The more he shook it, the more tightly it stuck. "Boo!" he said inside the jar. "Ooh!" And mostly, "Oh!" And he tried bumping it against things, and he tried to climb out of the trap, but as he could see nothing but jar, and not much of that, he couldn't find his way. So at last he lifted up his head, jar and all, and made a loud roaring noise of sadness and despair. And it was at that moment that Piglet looked down. "Help! Help!" cried Piglet. "A heffalump! A horrible heffalump!" And he scampered off as hard as he could, still crying out, "Help! Help! A horrible heffalump! Hop! Hop! A horrible heffalump! Hop! Hop! A horrible heffalump!" And he didn't stop crying and scampering until he got to Christopher Robin's house. "Whatever's the matter, Piglet?" said Christopher Robin, who was just getting up. said Piglet, breathing so hard that he could hardly speak. "Where?" "Up there," said Piglet, waving his paw. "What did it look like?" It had the biggest head you ever saw, Christopher Robin. A huge, big, well, I don't know, like an enormous big nothing, like a jar." "Well," said Christopher Robin, putting on his shoes, "I shall go and look at it. Come on." Piglet wasn't afraid if he had Christopher Robin with him, so off they went. "I can hear it, can't you?" said Piglet anxiously as they got near. "I can hear something," said Christopher Robin. It was Pooh, bumping his head against a tree root he had found. "Oh, there!" said Piglet. "Isn't it awful?" Suddenly Christopher Robin began to laugh, and while he was still laughing, crash went the heffalomp's head against the tree root, smash went the jar, and out came Pooh's head again. Then Piglet saw what a foolish piglet he had been, and he was so ashamed of himself that he ran straight off home and went to bed with a headache. But Christopher Robin and Pooh went home to breakfast together. "Oh, Bear," said Christopher Robin, "how I do love you." "So do I," said Pooh.
Oh, me too. I do like Pooh Bear and Christopher Robin. Now, what's going on in the lane over there? It's a post bus, and it's being driven by the most famous postman of all, Postman Pat. He's taking some passengers to Ingledale, along with his letters. At least he will be if he can get past Sam's mobile shop van.
It was a tight squeeze getting past, but Sam helped. "Come on, Pat. Left hand down a bit." "Take it slowly, or you'll scratch your new post, boss." As soon as he was through the gap, Pat stopped the bus.
Pat, how about a little light refreshment? I'm sure Sam has something we can buy.
Said Miss Hubbard.
Yes, a biscuit would be nice,
Said Granny Dryden. It seemed a good idea. So while all his passengers climbed out and went to buy things from the mobile shop, Pat decided to check a nearby postbox. He found 2 letters. When he got back, everyone was still buying things at Sam's shop.
You'll all be spent up before you get to Ingledale, said Pat, and we really should be on our way. I have the letters to deliver as well as you know.
I haven't finished me biscuits,
Said Granny Dryden.
Take 'em with you.
Said Ted Glynn, helping her back onto the bus.
Mind the step, Granny Dryden. After you, Miss Hubbard. Bye, Pat, and thanks,
Said Sam.
Bye, Pat. Ted Glenn, such a helpful man as well. Ooh. It's suddenly getting cold, very, very cold. And all this ice and snow. We must be in the Arctic now. Look, there's Pingu's igloo. It looks as if he's been having a good rummage through his toy box. I wonder what mischief he's been up to. I know. Let's get Sarah Green to spill the beans.
Bricks, boats and planes flew in all directions. Then Pingu found what he was looking for, a bouncy red rubber ball, and the pump to blow it up. He asked Papa to help him. And while Pingu licked all the ice off Mama's herring-flavoured ice lolly, Papa pumped up the rubber ball. At last, Pingu was ready for some fun. He dashed from the ice and snow house into the ice and snow outside. But just as he was about to kick off a thrilling game of football, a big wet drip dropped out of his nose, rolled down his beak and plopped into the snow. Pingu hurried back to Mama, who took out her biggest hanky and gave that nose a good hard blow. But when Pingu got back to where he'd left his ball, all he found was an empty patch of snow with a ball-shaped dent in it. Pingu was furious. He searched all round in the snow and all round his own house. And just then, a pair of particularly cheeky young penguins popped out from behind the house and started playing with a red rubber ball. Yes, it was Pingu's red rubber ball, and Pingu was furious. As the 2 cheeky penguins threw and kicked the ball, Pingu leapt about between them, trying to catch it. Until, with one mighty effort, he finally leapt high in the air and grabbed the ball. As Pingu raced back to the safety of his own ice and snow home, the 2 cheeky penguins pelted him with snow. Pingu was so cross, he bent over double and rudely waggled his tail at those penguins. Then he dashed inside his front door, only to find that all the air had gone from his red rubber ball. It was as flat as a red rubber pancake. Papa was sorry for Pingu and set about mending the ball, while Pingu sought out the safest place in the whole world. He jumped into Mama's arms. Mama stroked, patted and comforted her Pingu, then laid him in his favourite swinging hammock. Papa blew up the red rubber ball, round and bouncy once more, mended with sticking plaster. Pingu was happy again.
Thanks, Sarah. One of our newest stars. No, not Sarah, Pingu, and one of my favourites. Now, I'm off to side 2 now, and to another place where it's always cold. A place ruled by a white witch. Can you guess where it is? Turn over the tape, and you'll find out.